We'll now have the video, which will lead us into the Minister's speech this morning.
The M1 corridor is at the centre of economic activity throughout the island of Ireland and is uniquely positioned to drive its future development and growth, encompassing the only United Kingdom and European Union land border crossing, linking the island's two largest cities of Dublin and Belfast and two of its largest towns, Dundalk and Drogheda. It boasts a growing population of 2.25 million people and is Ireland's most densely populated region outside of Dublin. The M1 corridor boasts a critical mass of talent, with a young, urban and highly educated workforce and unparalleled connectivity to international markets, with an extensive fibre-based, high-speed broadband network, with access to 3 international airports, 4 deep-sea ports and an excellent rail network. The M1 corridor offers low-cost property solutions and a high quality of life for all.
Well, as you can see, that's a brilliant synopsis of what the M1 corridor project is all about, and there are lots more videos to be viewed on the website, which is m1corridor.ie. At this moment in time, I'd like to welcome to the podium our very special guest, the Minister for Housing, Planning and Local Government. Please welcome this morning Mr. Eoghan Murphy.
Thank you, and good morning everyone. It's very good to see you all this morning on this Monday. I really want to thank Shona and Paddy for inviting me here to be here this morning with you. And we were reminiscing about some of the previous visits that I had up here on previous visits when I was Minister for State for Financial Services. I have a couple of people I wanted to recognise, if I may, and apologies for a few, if I could do that first. Fergus O'Dowd sends his apologies. He's in Russia at the moment on behalf of the Oireachtas, so he couldn't be here. But I very much want to welcome Mairead McGuinness, who is here, Councillor John McGahan, Jed Nash, I saw driving in, he tried to run me down, but he missed. Jed, you missed me. Better luck next time. Peter Fitzpatrick, Declan Bracknock, I haven't seen, but I think is here. And also as well, some of our councillors, Sharon Tobin, Colin Markey, Dolores Minogue, Rory Murphy, thank you all very much for being here. We all know why we're here. We all know why this is important and why it makes sense. And we have a responsibility now, I believe, to take the initiative that is being taken here and to get the message out and get the investment in. And that's what this initiative is about. Getting that message out and getting the investment in. And I was reading actually over the weekend a recent article in the Dundalk Democrat. I think it did it very well. It made the case in a very robust way, and it also managed to take a couple of pot shots at Cork and Limerick and a few other parts of the country. I'm all for healthy competition. But before I was Minister for Planning, I was Minister for Financial Services, and I had the opportunity right from the get-go to come up to meet with your local representatives, to meet with local community and business leaders, to talk about some of the initiatives that were currently underway at the time then. And one of the things that caught my eye, being responsible for financial services, was the payments corridor concept that was being developed at the time. I think it was being developed by the Mill. And that idea of trying to cluster, particularly fintech, e-commerce and payments around the corridor, around the M1, with the businesses that were already there, but also looking at connectivity and other issues, see how you could leverage that to bring in even more investment. And, you know, that then, because of the initiative that was being taken here, that was then incorporated into our plans when it came to our IFS, our International Financial Services Plan 2020, and all the job creation targets that we wanted to hit off the back of that. And while it did focus, in terms of the payments corridor, while it focused on a particular aspect of commerce, and particularly e-commerce, it very much spoke to the importance of this corridor, very much spoke to the importance of the route and everything that is off and around it. And that has only grown in importance since the Brexit decision. That's the only time I'm going to mention Brexit this morning, okay? I'll let you away with any insights on Brexit. I don't have any new things to say, but what we really saw, or what I saw at the time when I was looking at financial services, was real potential to do something quite special. And when you look at the corridor, when you look at it connecting the two largest cities on the island, you look at all of the ports, the airports, the road and rail connectivity that's there, and this idea that 2.25 million people are within 60 minutes of Dundalk and of Drogheda, that really talks about the potential that's there. Not only what's happening already, but the potential to build on that. And often, as Minister for Housing and Planning, I talk about investments in areas, and I believe the greatest investment that we can make in an area is people. But the people are already here, as is the infrastructure and everything else that you need. So really, you're investment ready. And again, the Democrat was talking about that, being investment ready. And so the initiative that we have this morning is about going out and selling. It's about going out and saying, look, it's all here. The people are here, the infrastructure is here, the businesses are already here, and that connectivity is here. So doesn't it make sense to come and invest more? And that's really why it's so important. And then after I left financial services, I became the Minister for Housing and Planning and Local Government. And with my planning hat on, we were looking to Project Ireland 2040, to look to the next 20 years in our country and to see how it can and how it should grow. And a big part of that, in terms of planning, the planning framework under the Project Ireland 2040 strategy, was looking at this corridor, looking at the important connectivity between and across the border, and looking at the fact that with an extra 1 million people going to be living on our island in the next 20 years, where are they going to live? And we want 75% of that new population growth to happen outside of Dublin. And so in that plan, Project Ireland 2040, we recognised only 5 regional drivers. And this is one of them. And that's why it is so important for the future of our country for the next 20 years. And that's why, at the moment, we have the Regional Spatial Economic Strategy, which is developing out those plans that we have in the National Planning Framework. It's about putting that framework in place. And we've also put the funding in place as well. So we have a responsibility in government, of course, to make sure that we're planning in the right way for our population growth. But we also have to make sure that taxpayers' money has been invested in the right way. And so last year we launched for the first time our urban and rural regeneration funds. 2 billion on the urban side and 1 billion on the rural side for the next 10 years to invest in projects to try and regenerate our areas, particularly our towns and our villages and our city centres. And the first amount of funding was already launched and was already delegated, and we're about to open a second round of funding as well. And I'm very happy to say that thanks to Jim Darcy and John McGahan and others, and Fergus O'Dowd, a delegation was into the department on Friday, and I think they had some very positive discussions about the potential for future funding and how to leverage it into this area and into the corridor initiative. So really what I'd like to say in conclusion is to thank very much, if I may, your elected representatives. And I know I'd single out, of course, my party colleagues, because I would deal with them more. I want to single out Fergus O'Dowd because he did do a huge amount of work in relation to the National Planning Framework and making sure that certain targets and certain ambitions were hardwired into that plan. But I also want to thank each and every one of your representatives, because every time I've had the opportunity to come up here, and I've been up here many times, to come and speak with business leaders, to come and speak with the representatives in the community, they have put home to me the importance of everything that you are trying to do here. The initiative comes from here. It's how we can help in a small way at government level to make sure that our thinking is joined up and working together. And your representatives make sure that that does happen, and I think they do it very well. And I very much want to say well done to the Dundalk Chamber of Commerce, to the Drogheda District Chamber of Commerce, to the Oriel Hub and to the Mill Enterprise Network as well, because they have shown leadership, I think, in this initiative. They've brought together a fantastic plan, and we want to do everything that we can to help them and to help you to sell it now and to get that investment in. So thank you very much, and good luck.
Thank you very much, Minister. I'd now like to call on the PRO for the Dundalk Chamber of Commerce, fresh from his appearance on Morning Ireland. He came down here on the M1 corridor at breakneck speed. Mr. Paddy Malone.
Thanks, Michael. I would point out you don't need to do breakneck speeds to get from Dublin to Dundalk in a reasonable time. That's the whole point of where we're here today. Anyway, ambassadors, members of other chambers, international and otherwise, Intertrade, who play an important part in what we do in this region, encouraging business north and south, members of Newry and Mourne District Council, Newry Mourne Enterprise Agency, Newry Chamber of Commerce, our own members, the chambers in Dundalk and Drogheda, the Mill Enterprise Hub and Oriel Hub, who are the 2 sister organisations to each of Drogheda and Dundalk. I'd just like to say you're all very welcome. I would like to, just on a personal note, deviate for 1 second and just thank Nessa Duggan for all the work that she has done over the last couple of weeks. Putting together a whole lot of things is very difficult. When you've got 3 or 4 bosses and nobody answering the questions, it becomes even more difficult. So a lot of credit goes to her. Minister, we met first in Dublin Castle at the Brexit conference when you were Minister for Financial Services. I wasn't a happy camper. Dundalk had just lost its gateway status, and you told me to calm down and that you would come and listen, but that you were away for a month and you'd be back. 4 weeks later, and it was the day, you rang me, you came down to Dundalk, and with Pat McCormick, our current president, and Roy Bond, who's down there somewhere, our former president, you listened. I asked you for half an hour. You gave me 2 hours. You listened carefully and attentively. You asked the relevant questions. We had the statistics because we had started to gather the information, crude as it was at the time, but you listened, and that gave us great heart to actually go ahead and drive this. We had come up with an idea in discussion with Louth County Council and with others of a linear city of Dundalk Drogheda. If we couldn't get Dundalk by itself, then our good friends in Drogheda would come with us and we would work in that direction. We actually also talked about Newry and the importance from a 2040 plan that you can't plan up to a border. We've seen that before, and by the time you get to Castle Bellingham, which is where we are, the plan has lost its impetus, and by the time it gets to Dundalk, it's dead. That's why we planned beyond it. Good neighbours will always take account if you're going to do an extension of what's going on next door. So we took that challenge that you gave us, we accepted it, and we wrote with it. We used the MOU, the Memorandum of Understanding, which was created between Louth and Newry and Moan, the first such integrated policy between 2 local authorities anywhere in Europe, as Mairead will testify. And then we went to talk to Drogheda, and we received from Shona a very, Kate Fáilte, a welcome and an engagement, and she brought a whole range of, and her colleagues brought a whole range of expertise, different than ours, to the project so that we could actually create a bigger whole. And that recognition drove the whole project forward. And the result, the 2040 plan, when it was announced, as one senior person said to me, you asked for an awful lot and you got 100%. You can't be complaining. And for once, I wasn't complaining about the way we were treated in the area. Both Shona and myself and Pat, we were all delighted with the 2040 plan and the vision of the M1 corridor, Drogheda, Dundalk, Newry, and the recognition that that area could become a driving force within the whole country. And we really do appreciate the fact that you not only listened, but went back and reacted to it. So, it set out an objective to be in the plan that this region is to be incredibly important. It will take pressure off Dublin, which is only to be welcomed for. But we also have to now build on our strengths, and we have to recognise what those strengths are. So we started to critically re-examine this area and gather the data. And working with Shona and working with Drogheda Chamber, we identified what we had unique for this area. And the problem that we had very often was our own area, we know it. I've gone to school, gone to college, I've always known where Dundalk was. It wasn't that far from Dublin Airport. But everybody else seemed to think it was up there somewhere. And that's one thing. And then the other thing was, most people, not in this room, but most people in Dublin can't tell you which is closer to Dublin, Drogheda or Dundalk. They get it mixed up. Last year in the Cup final, which Dundalk beat Cork, just to mention it to you, they had a map in the programme and they got Drogheda and Dundalk the wrong way around. So it happens. Anyway, why our area? Well, the answer is very much in the statistics. And I would like to pay acknowledgement to Spatial Insight, whom we went to and engaged. And why did we go there? Because they are the ones that are recognised by government policy, that they critically examine and drill and have the capability of drilling down detail into the CSO figures. They're based out of Louth University. Some of you will know it as All Ireland Research Organisation, AERO, but it's Spatial Insights, the particular section we dealt with. And the statistic that came out of that, a number of them. The first was, and you've made reference to it, 2.3 million people live within an hour's drive of where we are. 2.3 million. That's more than O'Connell Street at 2 million, or Donegal Square in Belfast at 1.5. And I won't go into the other ones, we'll just leave it that it's over 4 times the next one. So that's one thing we have going for us. There are 7 universities within an hour's drive inside our region. 7 universities. All of them working directly with industry. All of them already engaging with industry and bringing industry into the region. There's a number of examples I could quote in Dundalk, but if I mention one, I'll miss one, so forgive me, I'm going to play politics and not mention one. The other area is, we went to Tech Ireland, and we asked them to do a review of the area from the point of view of what was available and what the ethos was like in the area. And the answer we got back was, we have a strong entrepreneurial skill set. We've always created a huge amount of businesses, both in Drogheda and in Dundalk. We have produced huge businesses. Now, I know Dundalk a bit better than I know Drogheda. So, you know, the heavy engineering industry and others. Dundalk was an industrial town long before the rest of the south. But we have that industrial ability within both towns. So, the 2040 plan made emphasis on 10 points. A strong economy. Yes, we have one here. Connectivity. Yes, we have the fastest broadband speeds times to zero anywhere on the country. Our speeds in Dundalk and in Drogheda use it for Yapstone and for other companies. Their speeds are up to 1 gigabyte. That is 4 times faster than the average speed in the IFSC. We're 4 times faster than them. We have a compact city. We have plenty of land to build on. We have a World Heritage Site in Newgrange. We have the beautiful Carlingford Loch on the other end. We have everything from a lifestyle point of view. And yet, we have 80,000 people commuting down the M1, M2 or M3 every day. Now, I know there's one person in the audience who's very happy about that. Mr. Matthews down there, who was the former president of Dundalk. You'll all recognise the name. You've been stuck behind the buses awfully enough. But to be serious, 80,000 people travelling out of the area, which has the connectivity, has the infrastructure, has everything. It is a chronic waste of time and resources. It's clogging up Dublin City. The emphasis should be on getting the jobs into this region so that Dublin can be relieved, and so on. Shona will go into this in a lot more detail than I will. So what we're looking for, and what we have tried to do, is pull together the chambers, the 2 hubs, the state agencies, local authorities, business community, all pushing this area. We want to see the 3 towns, and maybe it's 2 cities in the town, Drogheda City and Newry City, with Dundalk in the middle. But we are quite happy to be a town because that's what we shout in Oriel Park every Sunday or every Friday night. Come on, the town. So we're quite happy staying as a town, trust me. We want to see this area developed as an area that you can work, rest and play in. We actually believe we can have our cake and eat it. The website we've created spells this out in great detail. Spatial Insight, as I said, have been a great help to us, as has Tech Ireland. The website consists of one main site that you've seen, 1 minute long, and 6 others that drill down into detail, each only 1 minute long. So each easily accessible. But behind that is a wealth of information and statistics which Shona and I have triggered and asked the questions to be delivered. Now hopefully we've got the questions right. But if we haven't, we would welcome your input into it. And that's the thing. This belongs to the community. It belongs to the community of Drogheda and Dundalk and County Louth and the greater County Louth. Because some of the businesses here go beyond that. I can see Terence O'Rourke from Inniskeen here, Chairman of Enterprise Ireland. Paddy Matthews would claim to be, I don't know whether it's an Inniskeen man or Dundalk man. But to be serious, this region has that reach and we need to work on it. Minister, you actually listened when very few would. You gave me the heart to keep going and to get to a point where I needed help, and Shona picked the ball up and helped, and we worked together and we delivered the project. But you were the one that if you had said to us that day when the 3 of us met you, no, it would have died. And to you I would say thank you. What I would also then finally say is, we have the opportunity. There are people here from the various state agencies, from business community, from the chambers, from the hub. We would welcome updates. We would welcome suggestions. We know we haven't got it completely right. We think we've got a long way to it. But we strongly believe that this is the area that can achieve significant growth in the future. It's a win for the country. It's a win for this area. We would ask you all to support it. And that's why we want you to own the project. It belongs to the people of County Louth. It's your project. We're just here as the guardians of it, but we want to drive it forward. And it is the greater Louth area, so that would include Inniskeen on one side, and it would include Laytown and Bettystown on the other side. So I'm not going to get into where it does and where it doesn't. It's all. So this belongs to us all. But Minister, just to conclude, thank you for listening and pushing us to get this done. And I'd now like to call on Shona McManus, the President of the Drogheda and District Chamber, to speak to us.
Thank you, and good morning, everybody. So it's a pleasure to be here this morning with you. Good morning, Minister Murphy, ambassadors, county councillors, members of both chambers, and of course our friends from Northern Ireland and Uri chambers as well. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning to you all. As I said, it's a great pleasure to be here this morning and to be collaborating with everybody on this wonderful project. So the M1 Corridor project, it's a strategic initiative and it's driven by 4 key local business organisations. As we've already heard from the Minister and from Paddy, they are the Drogheda District Chamber, Dundalk Chamber, the Mill Enterprise Centre and Oriel Hub. We've also worked it in collaboration through the Louth Economic Forum, which is chaired, as most of you know, by Martin Cronin, who's with us today, where both the chambers, the councils, the IDA and Enterprise Ireland, we all work as part of that Louth Economic Forum. And it's quite unique to this area, where we have that forum to actually talk through things. So the key objective of this strategic initiative is to promote and drive this region, as we've heard, as a business-ready and an investment-ready region, to drive FDI, to drive start-up businesses, to drive multi-site business, and ensuring sustainability for the future and also growth, economic growth and job creation as well. So myself and Paddy were on LMFM there a short while ago, and it was my job to talk through all the benefits of the area, and I was cut off. I had so many benefits to talk through, they cut me off on there. That's how lucky we are here. It's all about location. We're in a superb location. We sit, Dundalk and Drogheda sit in the middle of the Eastern Economic Corridor that is Dublin to Belfast. We sit right in the heart of that. And all around us we are rich with resources, with human capital, and also with an entrepreneurial spirit and an ambition that is second to none as well in the region. So I suppose we have, right here in the corridor, we have 2 of the largest towns in our region, Dundalk and Drogheda being the largest. We have a population, as we've heard, of 2.3 million that sits within a 60-minute radius. It is a growing population, a rapidly growing population. It's also a highly educated population. 40% of this population have 3rd level degrees. 46% of the people with degrees are educated to degree level within the STEM subjects. And I look at Pat McCormack from DKIT, who heads up the engineering part of DKIT as well. So 46%. They are the STEM subjects, or subjects of the future. We hold them here in this region. So very, very important. We also have 270,000 apprentices and tradesmen who are trained and qualified in this area too. So we are rich with talent. 30% of our people are commuting right out of the area every day. And we, as we heard already, we have within our reach 7 to 8 universities as well. DKIT being on our doorstep, DCU up the road, Belfast, Queen's, and we have Diffie College in Drogheda as well. So aside of all of this, we also have a very strong startup community. We have a strong reputation and success for startup business and innovation. We've got numerous successes all around us, and we have incubator facilities within the Mill, Oriel Hub, the Regional Development Centre and DKIT, and we're supported by 2 strong chambers and IDA and Enterprise Ireland government bodies as well. We have a track record in establishing industry clusters. You're all very familiar, and I've heard already this morning how Minister Murphy kindly launched the payments corridor back in 2016 in this region. We have a very strong payments corridor with organisations like Vesta and PayPal, Yapstone sitting within that corridor, or that cluster, I beg your pardon. We have financial services with the likes of State Street. We have life sciences, we've got engineering clusters, we've got food manufacturing clusters, we have digital technology clusters. We have a wealth of Indigenous local business as well to grow from, and fantastic success stories within business. Our connectivity, I beg your pardon, is second to none. We've access to 3 airports, one of which is about 25 minutes from here, if we stick to the speed limit. We've got 4 deep water ports. Our road infrastructure is fantastic with the M1 connecting us to the M50. We also have the M4, and then we have our rail lines as well. We just couldn't be in a better position. Our infrastructure and property is fantastic. We have cost-effective property solutions. We've got multiple zoned greenfield sites between Drogheda and Dundalk. We've got the fastest broadband, as Paddy alluded to, 3 times faster, 4 times faster than Dublin. And on top of this, we have very reliable infrastructure as well. We also have, as we all know who live locally, a fantastic lifestyle. We've got a coastal lifestyle. We have fantastic heritage and culture and arts all around us. And it really is a great place to live, not just to work or to do business. It's a great place to live and to be as well, to attract people and talent to come live here. It's fantastic. So I told you I had a lot of good things to say about our M1 corridor. I suppose to summarise, there will be thousands of job seekers and commuters who will be very happy to hear of this M1 launch today. There are thousands of commuters who sit in traffic, who sit on Matthew's coaches every day, who sit on the train lines every single day. Myself personally, within my business day to day, we have access to thousands of job seekers over the last 3 years. We've interviewed between 3,000 and 4,000 job seekers who spend over an hour every day commuting. And their main reason for looking for a new job is to work closer to home, to have a better work-life balance, but not just have a better work-life balance, to also have a career and have something to work towards. So they want both. So to really develop out their job opportunities and career opportunities is really important. We have academia blended with an entrepreneurial spirit. We're in a superb location. We have strong resources, infrastructure and human capital. We are business ready, we're investment ready, and by God we have the ambition and the vision as well for the future of the M1 corridor. So we truly hope that after all the work and the effort that's gone in, and when it started with Paddy's brainchild, Paddy is a brainchild, and it started with this seed, that it has developed to where it is now, our M1 corridor, with our collateral being our website and all the statistical information that you've all received today. We hope that all relevant stakeholders get on board, embrace this with us, help us drive out this region, and help to develop FDI, second site, multi-site, a new Indigenous business as well, to grow a sustainable future for the M1 corridor and to drive economic development and job creation. And Minister Murphy, thank you very much again for supporting this and for being here this morning, on Monday morning as well. Thank you very much. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, I think we'd like to show appreciation one more time for our keynote speakers this morning. We had President of Drogheda Chamber of Commerce, Shona McManus, PRO for Dundalk Chamber of Commerce, Paddy Malone, and the Minister for Housing, Planning and Local Government, Mr. Eoghan Murphy. Show your appreciation, please. That just wraps up our presentation this morning. We do wish everybody involved in the M1 corridor project the best of luck and success going forward. Thank you for your attendance this morning here. Beautiful surroundings of Castle Bellingham. And I'll leave you with a biblical quote: go forth and multiply. Thank you very much. Good morning.
Okay, sorry.